now available in paperback and e-readers. Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. One of my viewers wanted to know what my thoughts were regarding emo rap. Now, emo rap is something that came out of a subgenre of hip-hop, and this subgenre of hip-hop supposedly fuses characteristics of hip-hop music with other forms of music such as trap, pop punk, nu metal, indie rock, and cloud rap. And many of the emo rappers go out here and sing very sad songs, which basically talk about how bad their lives are, and also talk about things like taking their own lives. All of this is a part of the emo rap genre, and the emo rap genre was supposedly pioneered by a guy named Bones, who made VHS recorded music videos, and these music videos again had influence on the entire genre. And again, this whole emo genre basically is supposed to be a genre, again, that's really sad and somber. But when you really look at what's really sad about this emo rap is the reflection of black manhood and black masculinity to the world. Now, one of the things I have said in older videos is that the art and the literature of a time are a reflection and a snapshot of history. And when it comes to emo rap, it basically is one of the saddest pictures of the times, especially as related to manhood and masculinity, because when I look at most of the emo rappers, they don't really look like men who have strong senses of manhood or masculinity. No, what they really look like are men in crisis, like I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And as I was talking to one of my Facebook friends who wanted me to talk about making a lot of these rappers to be stories about the man crisis, I told him that basically if I continued to make videos about these emo and trap house rappers, I wouldn't have time to make content about any other situations regarding the man crisis, because many of these guys basically are just textbook examples of the kind of beta males that I talk about in the Man Crisis. And when I look at the emo rapper, they're basically fitting the pattern and profile for a beta male, like I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And their music basically, as sad and somber as it is, basically shows you a pathetic state of affairs as related to manhood and masculinity, especially if you sat there and grew up with the whole history of rap music, like I have since I grew up with rap music in the mid-1980s. Now, as someone who grew up with rap music and learned about the history of rap music, when I hear about emo music, it basically makes me shake my head. And it makes me shake my head because it just shows me how far rap music has fallen and how far black men and black masculinity has fallen, that the artists who make this music are just this pathetic. Now, when I was growing up as a kid with rap music in the mid-80s, rap music was a place where you had strong images of black manhood and black masculinity, and be in front of and behind the soundboards in the studio. And the rap music that came out presented a strong image of black manhood and black masculinity, with rappers who would rap either about how they are a great lyricist, or they would show it in the wordplay of their lyrics, or they would go out here and tell stories about life in the streets and life in the places like the South Bronx. And what's really sad is that after we came out of that era and rap music was sold to many of these white entertainers, they went out here and gave us gangsta rap, a hyper-masculine, caricaturized black rapper who basically fit the white person stereotype. But what's sad is after we had the gangster rap era, we've come into an era where we're seeing many of these rappers basically acting soft and effeminate. And that's sadly what we see as related to the world of this whole emo rap. We've got these little soft, effeminized guys with no sense of manhood or masculinity or any sort of dignity, and all they do is sit here and make these songs about how sad life is and how bad things are for them. I mean, they just make a bunch of downer music, because they really are growing up in a dysfunctional situation that has been made progressively worse by their dysfunctional families and their dysfunctional life situations, because many of these males basically had nobody there to teach them how to be a man or teach them how to appreciate life as a man. So they sit there making these sad songs, hoping to make people feel sorry for them. And as they hope to make people feel sorry for them with these sad, pathetic songs, the only people who are basically enjoying this music I'm seeing basically are white supremacists, and white supremacists are basically enjoying all of this emo music because they get to see black men basically degrading themselves, and degrading themselves in a way far different than that of the gangster rappers who they pimped out here as these thugs and these bad boys, who were basically, again, bad boys only in front of black people, but were basically punks when it came to the white bosses who controlled their music. I mean, in the day, those gangster rappers like Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, they talked real tough, but when those white business owners told them how to move, they basically were dancing like a bunch of marionettes. And when it comes to these whole, what they call emo rappers, white supremacy basically gets a good laugh at them because they know that these males are basically emasculated, basically effeminate, and they're so sad and pathetic. And with them being sad and pathetic, they are basically presenting the image that black men do not need to be respected because the black men in and of themselves don't respect themselves, and don't respect themselves because they're not even trying to compete by showing how strong and masculine they are with their music to make it distinct. No, what they are basically looking to make people pity them and pity their music, and again, get some pity sales as they put their music out here, and again, put up a pathetic picture of black manhood and black masculinity. And one of the most pathetic pictures of black masculinity, that's what I see whenever I see one of these emo rappers. I mean, these guys basically are, again, completely sad. And again, I don't know what's more sad is their whole presentation of life, or their whole presentation as related to the music they present. I don't know what's more pathetic, and that's what's the sad part about this emo rap music. And again, emo rap is just the sad devolution of rap music as a genre, because when it comes to the entire genre of rap music, it has basically fallen off, I say, ever since 1989, when the NWA, or the, as I call them, the minstrels with attitude, ever came out with Straight Outta Compton. That's when we lost all of the creativity as related to rap music, and it became this certified clown show, a certified clown show filled with pathetic individuals who basically are these days either not even living long enough to enjoy their success, because from what I've read about many of these rappers, they basically are winding up dropping dead, and either take their own lives, or they wind up losing their lives, and they wind up losing their lives so young that we basically look at them and just see them as not even getting to even 25 years old. That's the other sad part about a lot of these rappers, which has people saying, oh, this is a profession where people really don't last long, and the last thing you would want your child to do is be a part of this whole rap music, especially emo rap music, where either the people wind up either losing their lives, like XXXTentacion, who lost his life in a murder, or other rappers like Little Bo Weep, who died of a drug overdose due to his serious mental health issues regarding PTSD or the loss of a child. Again, when I read the stories of these different rappers in the emo genre, they basically seem like men in crisis who did not have a father there to help them deal with their issues or have people in their lives to give them any support. And as they're going out here making this music, they're winding up losing their lives, like Little Bo Weep and Juice WRLD, who basically died of an overdose of oxycodone and codeine. I mean, these guys, again, living very fast and very young, and again, making all these music that is, again, a big downer, and not even able to live long enough to even start to enjoy their success in life as they're making these very sad songs. So I look at this whole situation, and again, as related to emo music, and the viewer wants to know what my thoughts are of this music. It just shows us the sad state of affairs of rap music, just shows us the sad state of affairs to the entire genre of music, in that we've lost the whole concept of rhythm and poetry, because when you listen to some of this emo music, it doesn't even rhyme at all. It's just incoherent babble from men in crisis who basically hate their lives, and put together music that's just as dysfunctional as that trap house music, and again, just shows you the sad state of affairs of rap music. And I just can't wrap my head around what they call rap music, and it just saddens me these days to see what they call rap music. Just saddens me because, again, I remember a time when these guys would cold rock a party until the AM, and it was all about your lyricism and your wordplay. I mean, I remember those days of the mid to late 1980s where you had a whole diversity of rap music, but today's rap music, again, just makes me shake my head. And I don't know what's worse, is the emo rap music or the trap house rap music. I don't know which one is progressively worse, but all I know is when I listen to what there's talking about this music, and I've listened to a little bit of this music, it's not it's nowhere near the goth music or the emo music. At least there's some fun in the goth music, and the bands, again, are a lot of fun to listen to. But this emo music, again, it just makes me say, hey, somebody get this guy a therapist, get this guy an intervention, get this guy some help, and get this guy some help, because this guy who's doing all this rapping, he's someone who's a man in crisis and needs an investment in him to show him how great life can be and how abundant life can be. If anything, the emo rapper needs Jesus, and the emo rapper needs to find God's gift of salvation. That's what the emo rapper needs, because the emo rapper is a person who I see in many cases is spiritually lost and doesn't know any way and needs to find a way with Jesus. That's what I believe the emo rapper needs. He needs the help of God, because where he is, he's spiritually out here just wandering in a wilderness, feeling like there is no hope. And since he feels like there's no hope, this is why he's making this sad music that shows that he's not a man, but sadly another man in crisis. Now, this was a video requested by a viewer, and if you want to request a video, you can drop a donation for a minimum of $15 to the Cash App or the PayPal by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my books that detail life in the 1980s and show you a more hopeful picture of the 1980s, you can pick up my novel Spellbound, which is set in the year 1989, or you can pick up my book John Haynes 1987, and both of those books will show you a picture of life in the 1980s and the golden age of rap music. And in the case of Spellbound, you'll see a world of goth music and R&B as well. So you'll see what life was like in the 80s from someone who grew up in the 80s, and can show you a world where rap was made by men who had a purpose and a direction, not like today's rappers who are basically men in crisis. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.